kind of help you also think about how investors think from their point of view when they're putting their money in your hands, right? So the first investment was MedPlus. So you heard about MedPlus, pharmacy stores, right? So these are very interesting model. So this friend of ours who knew MedPlus founder Madhukar Reddy. Madhukar came from the US. He was from Kellogg's. He was an MBBS doctor. Came back in the US. He said, "I want to start pharmacy stores here in India," and we all laughed because there were so many of them at that time, right? So there's so many pharmacy stores. And we said, "How will you ever make this work?" He said, "No, believe me, I'm going to do something which is a central supply chain, right? Which is like the US. He said, if you go to a pharmacy store today, it's completely disorganized, right? People take a long time to give you the medicine. You don't know whether you're getting the right medicine or not, right? So there's so many things. They're not trained very well. The stores are a little shabby and dirty, so you feel whether the medicine that you're buying is good, bad, or ugly. And then when you have a large volume, then you can build on scale, right? So you can actually buy your medicines for much cheaper, right? So that was the model. And we kind of debated on it, and we said, okay, finally we're going to give it money. So it was me, three investors, me, Sridhar, and then the Srini Kopulu, who was Microsoft ex-CEO. So all three of us gave some money. And today, I think he's done a great story. It's about 2,000 stores. I think he's doing a turnover of about close to 1,000 crores now. And he's the second largest pharmacy chain in India. Okay. So great story. But again, a very entrepreneur-backed story. But he picked a problem that was a big issue for a lot of people, right? Pharmacy. So he took certain elements of the US model and came to India. Like Walgreens, which was in the US, is a very known model. The supply chain is central. Their all look and feel is consistent, right? And then they supply medicine because they can supply it at much cheaper cost than even the hospitals can, because they're buying in bulk. And they are taking out all the middlemen and going straight to the manufacturer, right? The drug manufacturer. So that was the first investment. Okay. The second one was, in a company called Tinker, which is a software coding app for children. Again, I met this person, this entrepreneur, in my Stanford program. So when we were together, we used to spend a lot of time talking, understanding, how to do it. This is the second startup, Tinker. The first one was a company called Plusmo. So he did a $100 million exit there. So it was much safer to give him some money. So that was how. So the first one was a little risky, but the second one was a little more safer investment. So anytime, if I'm going to ask you for money, right, what will you do? You'll put 2-3 different angles, right? First angle you'll put is, if I give him my money, is he going to make it 20 times? Okay? So there is a risk and a greed angle to the money. And the other angle is, if I give him money, will I ever get it back? Okay? So you basically you try to balance your decision making on safety, risk, and growth, right? So, and every person thinks differently. You would think differently from him, he would think differently from you, right? So, it's just, you'll have to find that right assessment of the person that you're pitching to. If I am the big risk taker kind of approach, then you've got to pitch accordingly. But if I am the more conservative kind, you've got to pitch accordingly. So you should be able to change your pitch according to the people that you're pitching to, but at the same time, you should be able to articulate your business idea in just 1 minute. Okay, that's the most important. Okay, if you are unable to articulate your business idea in a minute, then the person on the other side gets a little jittery, right? They can ask you questions, but you should be able to say, look, this is what I do. This is the value that I bring to the table. This is the pain that I solve. Okay, how do you know? Then you start giving statistics, right? Okay, what are your next plans? Then you say, oh, this is the product that we're building, all that stuff. So that's exactly my line of conversation with most of these companies. It's nothing great science about it. There's no science in investing. Okay, people will say, oh, we have all kinds of algorithms. I think it's all bullshit. It's basically a little bit of art and gut feel to the investment that you're doing. Okay, and here you're doing an investment in a virtual world, right? I mean, it's nothing you can't see or feel any of these things, right? So if I'm going to invest in this, I know I can feel it and feel good about it. But here you're doing it in a completely virtual world. So you'll have to really paint a picture of a real picture with the investor. I think that's very, very key. Okay. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about what we do as a company. So my company's name is Anthill Ventures, and we started operations in Hyderabad. For no other reason, just because my wife's parents are from there. Otherwise, I would have done it in Vizag or Bangalore. Okay, but we started in Hyderabad. I'm a partner with an incubator called 91 Springboard, which is one of India's largest incubators, about 120 startups in Gurgaon and Delhi. They've entered Hyderabad. So we have an incubator facility like this, similar to this, and Accelerator facility. So basically, we will select 9 startups in 2015, fund them meaning give them launch capital. So $20,000 we plan to provide them upfront. We bring them in. Sometimes the companies could be in Bangalore or Chennai or anywhere else. So it's a big problem for them to come into the incubation center. So that's not a problem. So we actually have some kind of interventions between the program. So if you're an idea, then we take 6 months to run you through the program. If you are already developed a product, then it's only 3 months before you go to market. Okay. Now, after 6 months or after 3 months, you need more money. Okay, because marketing is not cheap, right? And scaling is not cheap. Technology development is also not cheap if it's a large platform that you're thinking at. If it's not like a small app that you're thinking at. So we also try to arrange that additional funding of about $200,000 is what we kind of commit when we actually do a deal with the startup. But that money doesn't come from my pocket, it comes from other angel investors, okay, because of the network that I have. So that's the plan for Anthill Ventures. I mean, why Anthill is because, ants are hardworking, they work as teams, they put things together and actually, create the whole Anthill, and it really supports the ecosystem. Okay, so that's why it's called Anthill Ventures. Okay. Any questions? By the way, we launched we launched AP Speaks. I don't know how many of you have downloaded that. So that's one of the startups that is there in the Anthill portfolio. So it was launched by Chandrababu Naidu. It is an app to give instant feedback and idea generation.
What is it again?
AP Speaks. AP Speaks. So you can just download it.
On your site it says Insta Speak, both of them.
Yeah, so Insta Speak is the parent. AP Speaks is one instance.
Okay.
So tomorrow it could be Bhopal Speaks or Vizag Speaks or something else. So it can go into cities or it could go into colleges, let's say Geetham Speaks. And it basically people then generate ideas and feedback within the groups. So that's what it is. So we've got some good reviews, about 5,000 downloads in about 4 days and about 1,500 ideas, I think. So I got some.
So what is the right time to raise the angel fund? I mean, is it wise to bootstrap your company as long as possible and keep the show running, or else it is wise to raise funds in the initial stages and scale up, even though the valuation of the company is less, and give up a stake?
If you ask me, if I were in your stage, I will first take money from friends and family. Okay, I'll get the prototype ready to a certain level. Get a little bit of traction and then go and ask for money. Okay, it's a very different feel. Your invite to the table at an angel investor is that if you've already proven something, right? Because most of them look for that. If you just have an idea, then they look at the team, right? Then they look at, oh, he has a great idea. He has all the necessary skills to do it. And he's got the team with him.